Missiles continue to rain down on Ukrainian cities on the 13th day of invasion as Ukraine accused Russia of shelling humanitarian corridors, making it impossible for civilians to flee. Russia said that they were ready to reopen humanitarian corridors today, after Ukraine rejected Monday's proposal after many of the routes led to Russia or its ally Belarus. Ukrainian troops continue to defend the capital Kyiv and the cities of Kharkiv, Sumy and Mariupol. Over 1.7 million people have so far fled Ukraine for Europe. And for more on this, our correspondent Anas Malik is joining us live from Kyiv. Anas, thank you for joining us. Russia said that it would open humanitarian corridors again today. What is the response of the Ukraine government? Also, what can you tell us about the situation on ground currently?
Well, the situation on ground is as such that last night we heard shelling being done in the outskirts of Kyiv, precisely in towards the west of the area of the capital city in Kharkiv and other associated areas as well. And we've heard reports of some civilian casualties, some civilian being injured because the shelling was done on allegedly on residential compounds. Now, as I talk to you, it's again it's relative calm over here. There are some cars on the road. There is a calm in the city, there's quietness, there's stabness, and there's this haunting feeling that's here. Again, the Ukrainian government is yet to come out with what the Russian government has offered with regards to opening up the humanitarian corridor. The fight for Irpin, which is just 27 kilometers from where I am, from the capital city of Kyiv, is currently ongoing. Russian troops are reported to have advanced furthermore beyond the bridge, and now they control the other side of the bridge as well. As I talk to you, it snowed overnight and it's currently snowing here in Kyiv as well.
All right. Now also over 1.7 million people have fled the country. What can you tell us about the exodus from Kyiv?
Well, most of the people who are fleeing are those from either here in the center north of Kyiv or from elsewhere in the country. That means from the west, south and north, where the conflict is currently raging. Therefore, they're fleeing to safety. They consider it safe to be in the western side because at this point of time, except for that one airport that has been bombed in the west side of the country has not been attacked by and large by the Russian side or bombed by the Russian side. Therefore, going towards the west gives them two things. It assures them considerable safety, that is number one, and number two, it gives them avenues to go cross over into the European side as well. Therefore, we're seeing more and more people flocking in at the railway station here at Kyiv or even at Lviv, trying to go out of the country to considerable safety. 1.7 million people, as you mentioned, in the past 13 days have been left homeless, or they've left their comfort houses, and this seems to continue. Every time there's a train at the railway station, you'd see thousands and thousands of people flocking in at the railway station, and the train that comes back to Kyiv, it's empty. I was on the train journey just yesterday, and the train that I came in, it just had 12 people.
Right, absolutely, Anas. We saw those reports. Now, also a third round of Russia-Ukraine peace talks ended with little agreement from what we understand. Can you tell us more about how the peace negotiations are going on?
Well, at this point of time, the peace negotiations are going at a snail's pace. There are some expectations on both sides. Of course, Russia says that the Ukrainian side has to stand down and accept the two regions, Luhansk and Donetsk, as an independent region. They have to accept the annexation of Crimea as well. That is something that is a no-go area or non-negotiable for the Ukrainian side. Currently, as we talk to you, there are talks that there might just be a fourth round of negotiations, probably on Wednesday. That's likely to be held tomorrow. But by and large, given the situation on ground, people here, they're not very hopeful. They say that until the international community steps up and ramps up their pressure, nothing is going to work out, and peace cannot be attained until the international community actually steps up and does some practical actions.
All right. Also, what can you tell us about the humanitarian corridors, Anas? As we know, a lot of the corridors were leading to Russia or its ally Belarus. What can you tell us about this?
Well, yes, the two humanitarian corridors, mainly in Kharkiv and Mariupol, were leading either to Russia and or Belarus, and they were considered as a farce. The ceasefire that was announced in lieu of the same humanitarian corridor, it was considered as a farce. It was considered as a backstab, rather, by the Ukrainian side, and now they're expecting that if the Russian side is actually serious to avert a humanitarian tragedy, then they should allow the citizens to leave with an unconditional ceasefire that can vary, that can be timed, but it should be unconditional, and that all citizens should be allowed to leave to wherever they want to, and it should not be specified to any specific locations.
Right. All right, Anas, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed with the situation on ground and all your inputs on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.